Welcome to Horse Talk, where we are going to talk about softness versus lightness, and especially in horses, because there's a common mistake that very many riders do that makes horses less responsive to signals. And I've been thinking about this a lot, and suddenly it dawned to me that if we have a horse that we experience as not very responsive to signals, we tend to start with working on making the horse light and responsive to the signals. Versus what we need to do is to actually start working on making the horse soft to the signals. And then, once we have gotten the horse soft, we can then work on lightness. And then we're going to get a soft and responsive horse in no time. But if we start working on the lightness, we might end up getting a horse that tends to become a little bit stiffer and go maybe a little bit more against the signals than what is necessary. So let me know in the comments below if you want to learn the difference between softness and lightness. Yes, and it's quite easy actually. And I have this horse with me to help you understand it. Because I have not really learned this from any riding instructor, and I've taken many riding lessons and gone to, riding schools and become a trainer and an instructor, etc. And no one actually ever explained to me the difference between lightness and softness. And we were working a lot on lightness and not so much on softness. Okay, but here we go. If you're going to work on softness, it means putting a bend in your horse. Like this. Maybe bend the horse's neck a little bit and make the body soft, and also make the horse cross over behind. You make the horse's body soft, the whole body of the horse. So ideally, when you're working on softness, you pick up on one rein, which softens the horse's neck and softens the body and makes the horse cross over behind. And in this way, your rein signal, which is then picking up on one rein, makes the whole body of the horse soft and also activates the hind. And this is very important to do with the horse, both on the left side and on the right side. But if you are going to work on lightness, then you are basically riding forwards and you're stopping your horse either with the seat or with the reins, and the horse is straight. So that is lightness. And when a horse is very easy to stop, you kind of can ride fast forwards and you just use your seat and your reins a little bit, and the horse comes to a stop immediately, then the horse is very light. But what most people do is that they find they have some problems with the riding signals. The horse isn't really responsive enough to the rein aid or the seat aid or the leg aid, and they start working on making the horse lighter. And since when we're working on lightness, the horse is straight, that means that the horse can actually still stay stiff. And when a horse is, considered stiff in the mouth, it's not the mouth of the horse that's stiff. It's actually the body. So we're not going to solve this and make our horse soft and responsive to signals by working on lightness. We need to work on the softness first, on both sides of the horse. Yes, not on the lightness. That's something we can work on later once the horse is soft. So let me know in the comments below if this makes sense. Because after I started doing this, you can transform a horse from being stiff and against and not very responsive to signals to becoming soft and light in just a matter of a few sessions. Versus if we skip the softness part and go straight to the lightness, this becomes like a recurring problem that we are able to manage it, but it doesn't really get better until we get the softness grade first, and then we can work on the lightness. Yes, but there's a third thing that I think is very often skipped when we're taking riding lessons or going to clinics and stuff like that, that I also didn't learn while becoming a horse trainer and instructor. And that is maybe the most fundamental thing, and that the horse wants to be where they are and not everywhere else. And that's where I'm starting. Before I start on working on the softness or the lightness of the horse, I start with making sure that the horse wants to be where they are and not everywhere else, by doing the connection exercise and also by making my ID the horse's ID. Because if we attempt working on softness with a horse who is, only thinking about the friends and wanting to be with the friends, we get into some kind of struggle here because the horse's mind is over there and we want the horse to, become soft in the body and listen to us. And then the horse might just feel us as kind of controlling and nagging and wanting to be even more with their friends. And then you often end up in some kind of battle with the horse, which is completely unnecessary if we do the connection exercise first. The horse wants to be where they are, they trust us to take the guard, aren't necessarily thinking about their friends all the time, and are present together with us. And then we can start working on responsiveness and softness and lightness. So that's the third part. And we actually have a free training out right now, which is showing how you can make your ID your horse's ID. Yes, which we did with our stiff, unresponsive, and unmotivated children's horse, who was very attracted by the barn, basically barn sour. And his barn sourness affected the way he moved and also affected his responsiveness to signals and his softness and his lightness. It affected everything. So although we could be working on the softness and the lightness and doing lots of exercises, those exercises is not going to change the horse's idea of the stable being the best place to be and not wanting to go out on trails. So by making our ID the horse's ID of leaving the stable so that he could ride off at liberty because he wanted to go on the trails, that was what, completely transformed him, also in a way that was maintainable even when kids were riding him, because he was now eager to go on the trails versus homesick and thinking about the barn. So that exercise is very, very effective, of course, with horses who are what we call barn sour and stubborn. But it's also very effective with horses who are anxious, because when they are thinking about the barn, they might become anxious because we are then pressuring them to leave. And they might then feel scared, and the tension is building more and more up. And the further we get away from the stable, the tenser the horse becomes, especially if we're then riding alone. But if we again take the time with these anxious and horses who need confidence to make our idea of leaving the barn the horse's idea, they also become confident and soft and responsive because they are kind of present in the moment together with us on the trail. They're not thinking about the stable. Yes, so if you want to learn how you can do this with your horse, then check out ridelikeaviking.no/motivate, or comment yes below and I will send you the link to the free training, so that you can both work on softness and on lightness and also on making your ID your horse's ID, which is the most powerful tool we can have when training our horse. And also, I think the most forgotten one. After all, we tend to mount our horses and instantly decide where want the horse to go. But by taking the time to make our ID the horse's ID, the riding experience becomes totally different both for the horse and the rider. So I hope you enjoyed these 3 tips about how to make horses soft and responsive, and also that you check out the free training on how you can make your ID your horse's ID. So comment yes below and I will send you the link. And thank you so much for joining, and see you next time on Horse Talk. Bye for now.